Hey guys, it's me Meteor, and welcome to another edition of What is Kirby Canon? Today we're talking about Hyness and the Mage Sisters. At the beginning of the game, we see Hyness approaching a very mysterious heart, performing some kind of ritual to remove the seal created by the spears. Of course, as revealed by the ultimate choice, Hyness did not fully grasp how to break the seal properly. Because of this, once Hyness removed the spears, the heart flew up into the air and exploded into many pieces. When the heart explodes, we can see pink and dark hearts raining down from the sky. According to the Switch Star Allies channel though, those pink hearts are simply broken pieces of the spear, meaning the dark hearts are the only part of the heart itself. These dark hearts have such great powers of corruption, just simply staring at them could bring DDD back to his old greedy ways. Despite these dangers, Hyness still sets off to recapture all these dark hearts with the help of the Mage Sisters. Up until the latest update, it was unknown if the Mage Sisters were really sisters or just part of a sisterhood. And the Star Allies channel didn't really help with that either. Thanks to the descriptions in Soul Melter EX, however, we may finally have an answer. These descriptions talk about how a mysterious traveler, presumably Hyness, found these mages in the first place. All three of these sisters were found in different areas in different circumstances on the verge of death. Francisca was freezing to death in a snowstorm, Flamberge was in the middle of an inferno, and Zan Partizan was climbing a tower and got struck by lightning. At the end of each of these stories, Hyness shows up and unlocks their power for that element specifically, thus saving their lives. However, considering just how different these stories are, it makes sense that they're not really blood sisters, but more so unofficial adopted sisters, if anything. It should be noted that the Japanese version of Zan's text says that a girl who lost everything decided to climb a tower. Some may interpret that as wanting to end it all, but it could also just as easily mean she just wanted to relax by herself for a while. Regarding the sisters themselves, Francisca and Flamberge are pretty much polar opposites figuratively and physically. Francisca is calm, cool, collected, and Flamberge pretty much has no filter with anything she says. Also, unlike her sisters, it doesn't even seem like Flamberge even cares about gathering these dark hearts in the first place. The first time you fight her, Flamberge doesn't even mention the dark hearts at all. It seems like she's only fighting you because you hurt Francisca first. Even the second time when she says she's looking for dark hearts, the description pretty much says that she's supposed to be, but is rather taking a break instead. This description also hints at a relationship between Flamberge and Francisca, saying that she'd like to invite Francisca to join her, but worries she might melt in the heat. This is further supported by looking at the description for Francisca's second battle, which says that her duties have kept her away from Flamberge lately, and that she kind of misses her. Sure, this could just mean that they're really close friends, but when you have quotes like this, they're just kind of fanning the flames at that point. And then we have the leader of the group, Zan Partizan. She is easily the most invested in finding these dark hearts, to the point where it's even starting to affect her mentally. For example, the Jambastion station that crashed into Popstar in the first place is powered by her own electricity, and yet she has no issues destroying the entire thing just to try and kill Kirby. Either way, their goal is the same, to assemble these dark hearts to fulfill the most twisted of visions. Though it isn't until we visit Jambandra, which dwarfs even the Jambastion stations around it, where we find out what's really going on. When we enter the altar, we can see Hyness in the background reassembling the Jamba heart with all these dark hearts that were collected. Before Kirby could stop Hyness, Zan Partizan comes in, surprised to see Kirby still alive, and tries to stop Kirby herself. Upon her defeat, she begs Hyness for help. Hyness, however, doesn't even care and just smacks her over to the side. This probably isn't even the first time this happened. I mean, her description states that he treats her poorly and that he can't even remember her name. Though it also states that she swore an oath of loyalty to Hyness and that her respect for Hyness never falters, thanks to his intoxicating charisma and her deep sense of duty. Considering the sisters wouldn't even be alive if it wasn't for Hyness, it's easy to see where she's coming from. That being said, it doesn't change the fact that something is seriously wrong with Hyness. In fact, after Kirby successfully stops the heart from being completed, Hyness goes from completely calm to absolutely insane in a matter of seconds. Hyness then goes into a whole rant about how they were banished to the edge of the galaxy to the point where they even tried to erase their existence from history. Considering how some others handled being locked away for eons, it's easy to understand why he's so upset right now. Granted, there are other reasons too, but we'll touch on those later. During this same rant, he says that they were sealed away for fear of their power, the same reason Galactonite was sealed away. And though it's unknown what this galactic crisis was, if it was Galactonite, then perhaps Hyness was one of the ancients himself at one time. There's further evidence to support this by looking at the description for corrupt Hyness. Here we see several translations for the words that Hyness and the sisters speak. One of these words is lore, as in Lore Starcutter, a ship made by the ancients. Regardless, after telling Kirby to pretty much kill himself, Hyness tries his own hand at Kirby. And while Hyness' attacks seem a bit underwhelming, once that hook comes off, he resorts to desperate measures and absorbs the power of the mages themselves. He even goes so far as to throw them around like ragdolls as they're still alive. You could even hear them grunting as he does so. And as if Hyness hasn't proved himself crazy enough, upon his defeat, he takes things to a whole nother level. In order to give the Jampahart the rest of the power it needs, he sacrifices the generals and himself into it. However, I'm gonna save that for next time. See you guys then.